is Harriet Grayson, your host and producer for Community Culture Showcase. And welcome. It is summer. It is hot outside, and you're going to need to have lots of wonderful things to keep you busy outdoors. And I am really happy to have with me Mark Whalen, and we're going to talk about one of those fabulous places where you can go with the kids and enjoy yourself and get out in this beautiful New England summer days and have a nice frolicking time. So Mark, welcome to my show. It's a pleasure to see you again, looking so nice and handsome in that lovely sailing shirt. We're all set to talk about the water and to talk about art on Groton Bank.
Harriet, thank you so much for inviting me back to be with you today. It's my pleasure, and it's certainly my pleasure to talk about art on Groton Bank. We are actually in our second century this year.
Wow.
Last year was our 10th. This year is number 11.
Okay.
So we're rocking on.
Good, good, good. And for people who don't know, it is an art show, and it is not anything to do with the bank, except that geologically, it is the bank of the river where the event takes place, right by the Bill Memorial Library on their grounds.
We are more than an art show.
Okay.
We are an art festival.
Wonderful.
It's the beautiful grounds of the historic Bill Memorial Library, which we can talk about a little bit, give you a little history. But it's way up high in Groton Bank where we can see the river. Mm-hmm. We have trees and shade. We have the summer breezes. It's an outdoor art festival which can't be compared to anything else in our area.
That's great. That's right. And the other beautiful thing about it, easy parking, and also the fact that you have an opportunity to see wonderful historic Groton. I think people have no idea about what a wonderful historic place this is, this part of southern Connecticut and into local Rhode Island.
True.
Settled since colonial days. It's been around for a very long time, and it's expressed in some of the beautiful architecture that's still around.
Well, that's a good intro to right there at the Bill Memorial Library. It was built with money from Frederick Bill, built about 1890. It's a beautiful Richardson-style structure. It's really beautiful. It's got acres and acres of the beautiful grounds that I mentioned that roll down. And it's in an area of captains' homes from periods, as you mentioned, from the 18th century, mostly from the whaling industries of the 19th century. And it's all there, all in a walking area right there at the library where this beautiful art festival takes place.
Great. So tell us a little bit about the art festival. Now, I understand you're still looking for artists. You're a little picky, but at the same time, you're welcoming local artists who are looking for an opportunity to introduce themselves to the public, to sell some of their goods, and also to be participants in this, kind of all-day fun affair.
Well, we've grown a lot over the years. This is my third season by directing Art in Groton Bank, and I'm very proud to say that last year was the biggest season yet in the record of Art in Groton Bank.
Wonderful.
We had more artists and artisans and visitors than in the previous 10 years of the event. So I'm very proud to say that. And I'm not very shy about saying that.
No, you should not be. Absolutely not. Now, do tell everybody the date.
The date is Saturday, July 15th. It's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay.
We'll be going all day long. And we usually, I know people think, well, July can be hot, but we have those breezes because we're up on that hill. And
there's a lot of trees surrounding that library.
A whole lot of trees.
It's surrounded by a lot of trees. So
Yes,
it's not going to be brutal in terms of if it turns out to be a hot one.
It is not.
So tell us a little bit. We have photographs from the past shows. So why don't we perhaps take a little look, and we can talk about some of the artists. There we go. That's what it sort of looks like. Right. And you can do the description.
Yeah, this is a picture of last year when we were just getting set up. Obviously, you don't see very many people yet, but we were just getting set up because we start setting up 2 hours before our visitors arrive. So this is kind of gives you an idea of what we were doing to get set up and get ready for all of our visitors. You can see the Griswold Monument right there in the background, which is also walking distance. If you want to see Fort Griswold, tour the museum there, walk up to the top of that beautiful obelisk. And of course, you see the grounds, tent after tent after tent, full of artists and artisans with all kinds of things, from pictures and oils and crafts and jewelry. It's just kind of endless.
And photography.
Photography. Oh, we have a lot of wonderful photography.
Right.
And a lot of people tell me, Mark, when we go to Art and Groton Bank, you know what we do? We do our Christmas shopping.
Oh, wonderful. That's right. A good time to see lots of opportunities to buy stuff for the kids, for your family, for your grandparents, for mom and dad. Lots of goodies.
And there again, look at those beautiful trees. Look at all that shade that we have there. The various different tents. Everyone full with all kinds of different things. You can see jewelry right there and photographs. You can see paintings in the background.
There's some more.
Yep, there we go. I think we see some watercolors. We see more photographs.
Right.
And we have our artisans and artists that come are renowned from out the area. We are very, very fortunate to have a wonderful following. They keep coming back every year, and they are true artists and artisans. But I want to say it's important that you don't have to come and worrying about spending a lot of money, because you obviously you might want to buy a beautiful oil or something like that for maybe a couple $100, but you can go down and spend $2 or $3 on a pair of earrings or some trinkets.
Right, exactly.
Which is why I say so many people tell me that they just come to do their Christmas shopping. They love it.
It's wonderful. Christmas in July.
Christmas in July.
July 15th, middle of the month, middle of the year, perfect time.
I mentioned it only because it's really true. I get a lot of people say, I just did my Christmas shopping.
Yes. When you're out and about, much better than going to a shopping mall or shopping online. Take the day off. And then we also have lots of food.
Lots of food, wonderful food. We have a lot of repeats. One of our favorites is Supreme Hot Dogs. That's coming back again this year. Everybody loves them. There they are with their wonderful little hot dog stand there.
Right.
They are such nice people. I love to have them back every year because they're just nice people, and they produce a really great product. We have several other food vendors. I'm not going to mention their name right now, only because I don't have their contract signed yet.
Yes,
but
of course,
that's coming up.
Yes.
But we're going to have other great food. We're going to have some desserts and some ice cream. So
ice
we're
cream.
going to have a lot of
and you can always get water and soda and some liquid refreshments.
Plenty of water and soda and liquid, of course.
We're always anticipating that it might be hot. You never know in this kind of climate, but who knows, right? Even if it's not so hot in terms of the weather, you can still walk around and have a good time. And there are places for people to sit down and eat.
Oh, we have a dedicated tent, a big, huge tent with tables and chairs, which people can go underneath, of course, to have shade. And as well as when people want to listen to our musicians and our music, we also have an area in the shade. So people do not have to worry about being out in the sunshine, all that. And remember, we are on grassy areas.
Right. So it's not hot asphalt at all.
No, I don't want to make mention of the other bigger art show that happens later, but that particular show, we get compared a lot to that show. We're a lot smaller, but that's in downtown Mystic, and it's in August. It's even hotter, and it's on pavement.
Yes.
And so I'd like to remind our visitors and prospective visitors that hey, we we're in the shade,
Yes.
and we're on grassy, soft, comfortable surfaces. So don't worry about the heat.
Right. So last time you had the Coast Guard, one of the Coast Guard's little band.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
And this year we're going to do something totally different, right?
Well, last year, of course, we were celebrating Submarine Century.
Right.
And of course, we always love our military. And so part of our celebration last year was to have a military presence. And the Coast Guard was kind enough and available. It's very hard to book,
Yes.
but they were kind enough and they were available to join us. But we have some surprises coming this year as far as music.
Good.
I don't think anyone will be disappointed in the live music that we have coming up this year. It's going to be very exciting.
So you have a jazz group?
We have a jazz group. Yes, indeed.
And then a rock and roll group?
We have a rock and roll group. We have a group called Smart Play that's going to be coming back and visiting us again this year. So yes, we have a lot of wonderful live music, and we have a dedicated area for them, so they're in the shade, and anyone that wants to.
Table and chairs, so you can just sit down and relax and listen to the music.
Yes, but we find that most of our visitors, versus some of them want to sit and just enjoy the performance, which we have it available for them to do so. But what we find is that the music just goes all throughout the grounds of the library. And it just makes for this really fun experience to be strolling from vendor to vendor, listening to music. You don't need to sit to watch it, because the way the acoustics are, it's just
surround sound.
Surround sound. It's everywhere. Yeah, it's wonderful.
And also, you are very, very generous in that you allow writers like myself to come and do some readings there. And I'm bringing along another author with me, so that we're beginning to kind of do a little. I have fiction. I have mystery novels. I'll read a little bit from that, and then my guest writer does some nonfiction. Actually, writes about the area.
Yep.
And so she'll be reading some stories, which are true stories about people that come from the area, including Amelia Earhart was actually married nearby.
In Groton, she was. Yes, she was.
And so there are some interesting people who have come out of or have had experiences in the Groton area. She's going to be reading from her books about that. And then if people are really interested, they can come by and talk to us. We'll sign books and stuff like that. And that's, kind of fun. So that we have the music, we have this kind of little literary bent that we have going on. So we have a kind of nice entertainment for people of all ages.
Well, Art in Groton Bank is all about our community. And, we are a nonprofit. We produce this festival not to make a profit. We're not a corporation. As a matter of fact, we survive on 501c donations that help support us. But we're all about giving to the community. And if there are any proceeds, they go back into the Bill Memorial Library.
Oh, okay.
So we are not a money-making machine by any means. So yes, we reach out to the community as much as we can to bring in people like yourselves and others to come in to help us make this festival a really fun event. And I like to make it an interactive event where we have other things other than looking at art. We have things for people to see and do of all ages. There we have on the screen right now, we have face painting.
Right.
And we will have face painting again this year. We have something that's called a flag line. I don't think we have a picture of the flag line, but I'll tell you about the flag line.
Good.
We have a table, it's totally free, and we string up from tree to tree or corner to corner these strings, and we give everyone a little bit of a piece of fabric with a felt tip pen. And each year we try to have a different theme that they write. Like last year was, what does Submarine Century mean to you? This year is what does living in the city of Groton mean to you?
Right.
And they can draw a little picture or do a little note, and then it's put up on this line. and within hours, we've got these lines of flags flying all over the event. It's extremely popular. We have hundreds and hundreds of them, and we usually, by the time the event's done, there's not one flag left.
That's great.
People love it, and we offer it totally free.
Yes, that's great.
Totally
that's
free.
something kids can do, and adults.
Everybody
Right.
can do it. It's a way
And
of
you don't even have to live in Groton. You can say, what else do I like about Groton?
And all you have to
Anything.
do, make a funny face.
Yes,
You know, it has to be family friendly, of course.
right.
But make a funny face. Do whatever you want to do. Have some fun.
Yes.
And we'll put that up in that line, and it'll just flutter in the breeze.
Right.
And it's a very, very popular part of what we do.
That's good.
And again, it's part of being interactive. So when people come to Art in Groton Bank, they can expect they're not just going to be walking around a field looking at art. They're going to be seeing other fun things to see and do. And I'm just barely scratching the surface of what we're going to have.
Wonderful. And so if we do have some other people listening to this, some artists who are out there, there are still some opportunities for them to be vendors at the event. And you're looking for certainly anyone who deals in oil or watercolor, who's into the painting.
Acrylic, wall, almost anything. We have sculptors.
Oh, okay, yes.
And we have people that make handmade jewelry out of all kinds of things, from silver to sea glass and other types. We have someone that makes birdhouses that comes in to see us. We had wood crafts. Any kind of medium that you can think of, we have. And it's important to us because, again, we don't want to just be a static art show. We want to have lots of different things for just about everybody of all ages, because when people come to Art in Groton Bank, we want them to have a lot of fun.
Right.
We want them to have an experience that they're going to remember.
Definitely. Now, the other thing that's kind of very interesting, that's not necessarily a part of what you're doing, but is a part of what's going on in Groton, is this wonderful new taxi.
The water taxi.
The water taxi.
Yes, thank you so much.
Tell us about it. There's a picture. It's relatively new.
It's in its second year. This is going to be the first full year. Last year was the trial run, and it was extremely successful. It runs from 3 points. You can pick it up at any one of these 3 points, but it begins actually at Fort Trumbull, which you see right there.
Right.
And then it goes on to the ferry terminal, which is near the train station in New London, right there.
There's a picture right there in New London.
And then it crosses over to the Groton side, right on Thames Street, right down from the Avery Cophouse Museum.
Right.
Now, what you have on your screen now is the Avery Cophouse Museum, which is, to our visitors, or your viewers, it is a museum house with unprecedented. It's a time capsule. And it's beautiful. It's going to be open that day, as will lots of other sites right there within walking distance. But right down the hill from this beautiful home is where the water taxi will land in Groton. Now, remember, you can pick this water taxi up at any one of those 3 points.
Right.
It's a very low fee, and for the day, you can ride that water taxi and go through all 3 points. There's plenty of ample free parking, so there's really no excuse
for people not to
use it.
Right.
But how wonderful, because you can have lunch on one side of the river, you can have dinner on the other side of the river if you want to.
Right.
How wonderful is it in July to take a boat ride?
Yes.
Not very many people have the opportunity to be on the water.
Right.
And as I like to say, this is an opportunity. So many people, if you're either on the Groton side or the New London side, you look across the river and say, it looks so close, but yet it's so far, because the only way I can get there is to go on 95 and across the Gold Star Bridge. Well, no more.
That's it.
No more.
That's it.
You can take the water taxi from point A to point B, and you can have a water ride from Groton right over to New London and have a totally different experience. It's a short ride, and it's at an incredibly low price.
Yes, and it's a wonderful idea, because it also brings back that before all these bridges were built, and we are a state with lots of rivers, that's the way people got along.
That's right.
The passengers horses, all kinds of
Everything.
vehicles. That's the way they went, was by ferry.
The only way to get from New York to Boston would be to take a train to New London, and pretty much you'd have to take some kind of a ferry or something over until later on in the years when they built the railroad bridge. But there was a time when there was not a railroad bridge. And you would have to take the ferry over. And then, of course, the railroad bridge came in, but then there wasn't the bridge that carried cars. So it's evolved over the years, of course,
Right.
obviously. But yes, it goes back to a time that we don't think of very often today.
And it's actually very beautiful because that river, of course, also links up, we don't have any ferries yet, to Norwich. So you
Right.
get this whole sense of, because these are old cities. They have been
Yes.
around and populated since the 1700s.
Yes.
And then here we go into the 18th and 19th century. And you can get, by taking a ferry ride like that, you get a real sense of what history was like 100 years ago.
And you know what you're going to see very often? If you're going from the New London side to the Groton side, you're going to be looking at electric boat. So you could have a chance of seeing inside some of these bays where they're building a submarine. You could actually see, I've done it, a section of a submarine
Oh, okay.
being under construction. You also have the opportunity, it happens, happened to me, where while you're taking that water taxi, you're going to see a submarine going up the river.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
It's there. It's
Right.
real. It happens. I
Yeah.
can't guarantee it every time someone
It
takes
takes
a ride.
but of course.
But
of
it's
course.
there, and it's another opportunity again to really experience what our area is all about, which is maritime, history,
Yes,
the military.
yeah, yeah.
It's an experience that can wrap all those into one little package.
And it actually, when you see that piece of New London, for example, by the train station downtown, it's a kind of nice view, which again, if you're in a hurry and you're going on 95, you completely miss.
You
don't see
do.
those lovely buildings.
You do.
And you can get off in New London right there. There's lots and lots of restaurants on Bank Street and around there.
Yes.
And there's actually I'll give a plug for them because they've been been on my show, the Custom House Maritime Museum, which is right
That's
down the
right.
block, 19th century building, very beautiful, wonderful opportunity to see that maritime history of which we are famous for, right there in the building there. All around, the coffee shops, restaurants, both the kind of the easy subway type, also sit downs, lovely places. You can have a drink, you can sit outside, have a beer, look out the water. It's just a great opportunity.
Well, it is, and there's two other things that are going on there. Right there was Fort Trumbull, of course, that we've already talked about, has a magnificent museum. It's truly worth a visit, and that's available to you.
Right.
And the train station, which so many people don't take a second look at, they just think it's a train station. Well, it is just a train station, but it was built by designed by a famous architect back in the 1890s, William Richardson.
Okay.
And it's a very famous building and designed in the late 1800s by a very famous architect. And there are a number of buildings throughout the United States East Coast that were designed by him, but this is the only one anywhere in our region.
That's wonderful.
And architecturally, it is a jewel.
Right. And oftentimes, and although I'm not sure about July 15th, they also do some kinds of shows inside the train station itself, where they have different kinds of shows and
They
art shows
certainly
and
do.
stuff that they have going on there.
Yes, so again, it's more than just a train station
Yes.
where you pass through to pick up a train. They have art shows and things like that.
Yeah,
And-
definitely.
And it focuses again on what we are as a community, and that you can have someone come in from New York, invite your relatives, they can come in from New York, it's a short train ride,
Right.
Get off at the train station,
Or from the opposite side, come down from Boston.
come down from Boston, not very many people are around water.
Yes.
And take a little boat ride. Give them a day's treat. Little boat ride. Come over to Art and Groton Bank and experience this art festival, and we are going to have a walking tour.
Oh, yes, talk about this, because again, people don't have any idea about the historic nature and the value, the beautiful buildings that are in Groton.
That's right. Groton Bank, which is where the library is, and that's where we're talking art on Groton Bank. It's as I mentioned earlier, it's an area that's high up, looking down on the Thames River on the other side of New London. And it's got all these wonderful, wonderful captain's homes that date back many, some of them 200 years old, some of them the earlier. And we have a noted historian, Tom Altheis, who lives in one of those beautiful homes. And he is going to be giving a walking tour. It'll be an hour.
Wonderful.
We don't have the exact time set. We're hoping it'll be earlier on the day, and it'll certainly be on our website about that. And it'll be fairly level. We're not going to do too many of the steep hills, so it'll be a very easy walk. But it's going to be about an hour of walking around this beautiful neighborhood. And Tom knows everything there is to know about every house, who lived there, when it was built, what happened there, gossip, all kinds of
who murdered
fun
somebody in their bedroom.
Exactly. All those, what the servants were doing or shouldn't have been doing and did, and
the cheating wives while the husbands were on the whaling
name
ships.
It. Tom knows all the nitty gritty. I don't know how he knows as much as he knows, but he knows it all, and he shares it, and he loves to share it. So that'll be an hour's worth of great fun, which will be right there. It'll begin right there at the steps of the library where Art in Groton Bank takes place. We're hoping that it's going to be around 11 o'clock in the morning, but again, we check back to our website.
So the website is www.artongrotonbank.org. Remember, this is a nonprofit organization, and they actually take and will love your donations.
We do, and this year has been a challenge because there's been so many cutbacks, and unfortunately, some of the funding that we usually get, we have not been able to get this year because so many municipalities and things have had to cut back.
Yes.
And we really rely heavily on that because we don't charge anything. Our admission is free. There's ample parking that is free. We don't charge anybody for anything.
The walking tour, all of these things are absolutely free.
Everything about Art in Groton Bank is free. That's what we're all about. And if we make any money at all, it goes into the library. And the only money, frankly, that we make, we charge a very small fee to our artists, but it's a nominal fee. We provide tents and tables and chairs and all kinds of things.
Very nice setup. Absolutely.
We make it very user-friendly for our artists, artisans, and our visitors alike. So yes, please, if there's an artist or artisan out there, please contact me, and we'd love to see where
and the contact is right there on the screen, either directly on the website. Mark's got a email, and also he's got a phone number there, 860-367-3223, MG Whalen, WHALEN, at spcglobal.net.
I try to make myself user-friendly.
In this world, we have to try as best we can.
We do. And I encourage everybody and anybody, if you have any questions at all, whether you're going to be a visitor or you want to be an artist or artisan, give me a call, send me an email. If I can make a special need happen for you to have you participate, I'll do my best.
Absolutely. A very accommodating host, I must say.
Well, you and I, you've been now several years.
Yes.
And we always love to have you back, and we look forward to having you back again this year.
Well, we'll do a little literary show for everybody. And again, it's part of that idea is that you don't have to sit down and listen. If you want, you can, because there are chairs there. Get yourself a hot dog, sit down and listen to a couple of writers do their literary best to entertain you, because that's what it's all about. And so, yes, definitely. So come on down. July 15th, right smack in the middle of the summer, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., Art on Groton, and Art on Groton Bank. They have to remember
Yep.
the bank.
Yep.
.org. You'll get back to the website, give you some more information about what's going on there. Tell us a little bit also about what else is happening in the city this year. Anything that the public should sort of get to know, maybe once they come down to that. They might be interested in other activities that might be going on.
Well, the city is a very, very rich place to be. And we are so fortunate in the city of Groton to have so many varied things to see, things to do.
Okay.
And certainly right there that day on Art and Groton Bank, as I mentioned earlier, there's the Avery Cop House Museum, which
Yes.
is right there. That's going to be open. And again, that's a house that was built originally about 1800. It was owned by the same family up until I believe the 60s, and it was Victorianized some, but the contents of that house is a time capsule. It was given over to the foundation as a museum house. It wasn't recreated. So if you go into the Avery Cop House Museum today, you're seeing everything from things that go back to the 18th century to all through up until today's world. The way people lived, they cooked. It's real. It's not a recreation. It's fabulous. And of course, that's right there near Art and Groton Bank. The Fort Griswold Museum.
Right.
And the battlefield.
Right.
Which is very, very famous with the battle in September of 1879. And then, of course, there's the museum right there, the obelisk that you can see.
Right.
So there's right there alone, there's a whole lot of things. There's the Muller Bailey House, which is down the street a little bit from there.
Oh, okay.
So there are other museum houses within the area to see right there, just talking about Art and Groton Bank.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And we should, I'm always a big believer in this. There are many historic houses that are open to the public now all over the state of Connecticut, and to some extent a little bit less so in Rhode Island. These were all old homes starting from the colonial period into the 18th and 19th century, and many of them have become nonprofits, luckily, so that they're not destroyed. They continue to be able treasures where people can come and take a look. And just like you say about the Avery Cop House, it's like a time capsule to give us a sense of what life was like. And of course, for most people living in our communities 100, 150 years ago, these were actually wealthy communities. These were not poor farmers. Many of them were captains.
Yes, they were.
And some of them captains of industry as well as ship captains.
Exactly.
And so these are old and magnificent homes that if people didn't do things like create foundations and make them nonprofits, they would clearly disappear, and it would be such a loss for people to come by now and get a kind of a glimpse as to what life was like 100 years ago, 150 years ago.
Exactly.
It's wonderful that people have an opportunity to go ahead and see these lovely historic houses, and there are a whole bunch of them all around us that we should just take advantage of and take and see. And I mean, even children might appreciate going in and seeing how Mom used to cook, which was very different than what's going on. And the fact, of course, that many of these people were wealthy enough to have servants, so that there are servants' quarters.
And they're available. They're available for you to see. And you get a true sense of, you're not just going into a museum, you're looking into the way life was. And I have to mention, of course, we are a military community.
Right.
And we love our military community. And we're hoping, the plans are being worked on, that the water taxi will also have a stop at the Nautilus Museum. Everybody that's involved in that is hoping that's going to happen. It's still in the works.
Right.
I don't know much more about that I can share, other than that's something that we're hoping to happen. But whether or not that does, we can't forget that Nautilus Museum is also something that people need to put on their calendar, because it's magnificent. The museum is beautiful.
Yes.
You can visit and go into the Nautilus submarine itself. And it's not that far from Art and Groton Bank or from where we're talking about. Fully accessible, again, from across the river. So, we have to remember that too. Our military is very important to us here. and we have to support them and remember that. That, I don't know if you've been to the Nautilus Museum.
Oh, the wonderful thing about
wonderful.
that is that we had visitors who came from the New York area, and we didn't even know about it. And they
Really?
said to us, "Oh, come on, we're up here. Let's go ahead and go to this museum. You're going to love it." And we really did love it. It was like a gem that was right in the backyard, which we actually didn't even know about it. And it is. I'm claustrophobic, so the whole idea of going into the
submarine
was like really weird. But it is just, you get a real sense of it. And I have to say that my brother, that's what he was trained to do, a nuclear engineer in submarines. So yeah, absolutely. So it's a very strange kind of environment, and believe me, it's not for everybody to be in such close quarters. So it's a fascinating look.
Yeah,
fascinating.
Going into the submarine itself, yes, you if you have claustrophobic issues, they're there. But what an experience!
Yeah,
but the museum itself is not like that at all. It's big, it's open, it's modern,
right.
And you can also experience so much. And what's special about somebody like myself? And I'm certainly dating myself, but you know, I grew up in the early '60s here in Groton, when the submarine production was going, and I'm from an EB family and a Navy family, and to go into the Nautilus Museum, I see people that my mother worked there, or you know, my stepdad or my dad worked there, or I know that person, or I remember that.
Right.
So for locals, it's really a connection to our submarine and military history.
Right.
And it's a really rich connection.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that Groton and New London, of course, across the river is the Coast Guard Academy. That's right. Which was, until very recently, part of the U.S. Defense Department. Now it's part of Homeland Security.
Right.
But at any rate, that these things are right here. We have the Coast Guard Academy. We have the submarine base. And then, of course, we have Electric Boat as a supplier for the Navy of these incredible submarines.
And we are, officially or unofficially, and I'm not going to start a debate about this, but no, we are still considered the submarine capital of the world. And I'm proud to say that, because it's been that way as long as I've been around here. And as I told you, it's been a while.
No, and of course we've gone through phases where building submarines was sort of out of favor, and now it's back in favor. And Electric Boat has become, I guess, the premier employer in the neighborhood. And neighborhood being a much larger geography than simply.
Yeah, well, in my time, earliest on, it definitely was Electric Boat, and submarine building was the biggest. And then Pfizer came in, and they built up really, really big in the very early '60s. And they gave them a lot of competition as far as being the biggest and the juggernaut, if you will. But that's kind of gone back now and receded somewhat. And I think we've gone back to, Pfizer's still important, but I think we're back to what it was, especially with the amount of new submarines that they want to build, is that we're still submarine proud around here.
Yes, and it's kind of interesting because people who think about the state of Connecticut don't think that in fact there's big military presence, but in fact
huge,
absolutely, yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. We've got the employees that work at EB that are our Navy. We've got the Navy base, which is huge, employs thousands and thousands of people.
Right.
We have the Coast Guard right across the way. We've got the National Guard at the local airport. We are a military community, and there's no getting around that. And it's a very important, proud part of what we are.
Right. And do we have some other kind of, you have already thinking about next year in terms of what's going to happen next? Is there some other kind of theme? This year, what's the theme for the art on Groton Bank?
Well, it's easier to talk about. Last year was Submarine Century because it was just so huge.
Yes.
And everything was Submarine Century. So, all our focus went into trying to promote Submarine Century with the books and everything like that. And we're still holding on this year to being submarine proud.
Okay.
Because we want to continue that theme.
All right.
But I think our main focus this year is that Southeast Connecticut is a great place to live, to work, and to play.
Okay.
And come visit us regardless of where you are. And we have a lot to offer. We're a very rich, diverse community, and we're open and we welcome everybody.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And it's, people don't realize that that the train is right there. The Amtrak train stops there several times a day in New London, which
That's
then,
right.
and then with this wonderful boat, ferry, the water taxi, you can go ahead and explore other parts of the neighborhood.
It's very, very easy to maneuver around our area, especially now that we've got that wonderful water taxi.
Right.
And there is a season pass people can get if they live in the area. They can get a season pass. They also have other higher levels if you'd like to become a sponsor.
Oh, okay.
Where they'll take your money and you get a few extra goodies. You do. You get so I welcome, please, everybody go on their website and look for it. But there's the water taxi people work very hard. And it's all about, again, promoting all the wonderful things that we have all around us.
It's a kind of finally getting a recognition that this is a coast community, and that it's not, we have the Sound and we have a whole bunch of beautiful rivers.
Yes.
And we should need to take advantage of that and to promote those activities that we sort of kind of forget that that's where we are.
We have wonderful beaches on both sides of the river. We've got Eastern Point Beach in Groton, near where I live, and then there's of course the beautiful New London, the beach in New London,
right,
and others in Niantic and so forth.
And my home, Misquamicut Beach, Westerly,
Misquamicut
Rhode Island,
is premier, is
right,
spectacular, and yeah, so that we have we have so much around us, all the history and all the activities and things that there are to do. If you look in a calendar, look on any website, you're gonna find an endless amount of things to do or to bring your friends and your family in to our area. And of course, we want everybody to remember July 15th.
Right, like right in the middle of the year.
10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We want everybody to remember, if you're thinking about taking the train or taking the ferry boat or taking anything or driving or water taxi, please put Art in Groton Bank in your calendar, because you're not going to be sorry.
No, that's right, that's right. So artists out there, so you're still looking for artists, for artisans, any kind of jewelry, woodworking, all kinds of visual artists, photographers, to come and to contact you.
Yeah, we have a huge cross-section of artists and artisans that come to Art in Groton Bank, which is why when I first was asked to take over Art in Groton Bank 3 years ago, I started calling it an art festival instead of an art show. And that's what I've been trying to promote, is it's an art festival, because I've been trying in my tenure to make it more than just a static art show. I want to make it fun. I want to make it interactive.
Right.
Yes, we're about art and we want serious artists to come in, but we also want people to bring fun, the fun factor.
Right.
And last year we had a great number of jewelry, people that made handmade jewelry, and they're coming back this year. And it's beautiful stuff. It's it's really all handmade and very, very affordable. We're not talking about having to spend a lot of money.
Right. For Christmas presents already.
Right, exactly.
Shop now and you don't have to go out later.
Yeah, there's stuff for kids and men and women and all kinds of things. And like I said, jewelry and photographs and art of all kinds, pottery, handmade birdhouses. I mean, you name it. We really cover it, and that was my goal. And I'm proud that we've been successful at that goal, is to make Art in Groton Bank more than just another art show, because there's plenty of them around.
Right.
And they're all wonderful, and I wish them all the best. but I want to be different.
Right.
I want to be
the
more
other thing
fun.
I think that makes this one different than most of them around us is, number one, it's on a historic place to begin with. The Bill Memorial Library is a beautiful building. And
just to go to the building and walk through it and look at the beautiful oak staircase and the mosaic floors in that building. You don't have to like books.
Right.
If you like architecture, you walk into that building and it's a jaw dropper. It's beautiful.
And then, of course, you continue that theme by having one of your local historians take people around and show them the beautiful buildings, personal homes, and then also the historic house that is part of this kind of tour, so people get a nice flavor for what it was like in the 19th century when this was a really the homes for wealthy people. This was not; these were not shacks. These were the homes of the captains of the sea and the captains of industry who wanted to be on the water. I mean, the water. People wanted to live by the water because it provided them access to go around places. Because here's the sound, there's the river, but also a way to get away from being too crowded. You always have the breezes from the sound in the river. So, and then if you're high up, you don't have to worry about flooding. And so all this was in the minds of the people who decided to build up this physical community.
Well, the community has evolved this way. In the 18th century, it was a community, and then of course with the Revolutionary War, it was burned and all that, but it was a farming community originally. And then with the whaling industry coming in, it really had its renaissance during that time, because these whale captains would go off for years or a year at a time, but they were bringing back a commodity that everybody lived by. Whale oil and those types of things that heated your home or that lit your home.
Right.
It was very, very important commodity during that time period. And that's when a lot of these houses were built. And the community was run by that. And then we changed a little bit around the turn of the last century, and especially with the trains coming in. And then a lot of the cottages were being built, and these were being turned into summer homes. And a lot of the communities on both sides of the river became summer villages.
Oh, okay.
Literally. Or colonies, as they like to call them.
Okay.
And during the wintertime, there wouldn't be anybody around. But in the summertime, people would be coming in from New York or Boston or wherever. And these communities were alive in the summertime with summer visitors.
Right, right.
And then, of course, things evolve again.
Right.
And that changed, and now we've sort of just kind of come back to being the community that we are today. But you can look back into our area and see a little bit of every kind of different history.
Right.
And it's all there if you open up your eyes and you go to some of these museum homes or sites. You're going to see a little bit of all of that, the Revolutionary period, the Victorian period, and military and everything in between.
Right.
It's all there.
Yes, yes. It's a beautiful historic place that people, it's like one of those neglected gems. One of my first things when I started my show was, in fact, to highlight some of these wonderful neglected gems that are out there that we just, in our busy lives, we might even see it, but we don't stop to enjoy it. So now here's an opportunity to see it and to enjoy it. So the fact that your physical location for your art festival is so different than everyone else out there.
It is.
Certainly in this area, it's wonderful because it is just the place itself is just lovely to be walking in.
We offer everything that I've just talked to. We offer right there at Art and Groton Bank. You can visit the Civil War Museum and Fort within a short walk. It's right there, overlooking the Thames River. You see the river, you see out long, what you can see way over. And you can see the captain's homes. You can see some of the Revolutionary War homes that are still there in the museum. So yes, Art and Groton Bank is more than just art. It's also the visiting a museum of different sorts all around us, and it's very exciting.
No, it is.
You can come for the day and take the water taxi or the train or drive. We got so much ample parking all over the place free
Right.
that's never ever an issue for anyone to park. And you can park your car at Art and Groton Bank, visit Art and Groton Bank, see the artists, maybe have a hot dog, something like that, go visit a couple of museums, take the water taxi to New London, have a boat ride, come back to Art and Groton Bank, pick up your car, and you've had a whole day.
Right.
And everything's free. Parking's free. The only thing you have to pay is a small fee for the water taxi, but everything else is free.
Right.
And you've had a whole day of seeing a lot.
Right.
What more can I say?
Yes,
A lot.
Exactly. It is. We have to remember about the historic value of where the place is located, the Bill Memorial Library grounds,
Yep.
and then everything that surrounds it, which is, again, a nice afternoon. We can start early in the morning and then go till from 10 a.m. in the morning till 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
Yep.
And
Yep.
visit not only this art festival, but as you say, the other surrounding communities. And you don't get that often. Easy, just walk down the hill and then pick up the boat.
How many people get a boat ride? Not very many people get to take a short boat ride or a longer boat ride if you want. Enjoy that experience. See 2 different cities, see all kinds of different history, see art, do some shopping, have some lunch, listen to great music. I mean,
And if you
am I forgetting anything that
no,
I should
the only
add?
thing, yeah, well, the only thing you can then put on top of that is you can take the ferry across the Sound and you can land up in Long Island.
That's right, you can. You can take the ferry, or you can visit Art and Groton Bank and leave your car, quite frankly, and
Yes, go
take a train to New York or Baltimore or Boston or something like that.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
God, I don't know how we can make it any easier.
That's true. That's true. Now the art festival, it's not juried, so you're not
It is
going.
not.
So we're not going to have any, first place, second place awards or anything like that. But that should. But that should then make it easier for people to, if they're not thinking that their painting should hang in the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Right.
They can feel welcome in this particular kind of art festival because we
Exactly.
really want to open it up for local artists and artisans.
Yes, exactly. We are not juried. We have the majority of our artists and artisans are repeat. We do have new people that come every year, and we certainly welcome them.
Right.
And we do not discriminate against your level of artistry. As long as it's family friendly, we're welcome, and we want to have a diverse kind of art to display for everyone to enjoy. We're not looking we're not looking to create a museum for that day.
Right.
We're looking to create fun.
Yes.
And what we're working on this year, I wasn't going to mention it, but I will mention it
Okay.
now. I wasn't going to mention it because it was still in the works, but I
Okay.
think it's going to happen.
Okay.
Is that we're hoping to have a raffle every hour on the hour,
Oh,
free.
okay. Oh, a raffle, and what are you giving away?
Piece of art or jewelry or something from one of
okay,
our artisans.
okay.
We're still trying to finalize those plans.
Okay, all
But I'm
right.
going to go out on my limb.
Yes. Go right ahead. Go ahead.
Because we think we're going to make that happen.
Good.
Which we've never done that before.
Okay, so people could be going home with stuff that they won in the raffle.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to.
Sort of like a door prize kind of thing.
Yeah. It's not going to cost anybody anything. All you have to do is put your name in, and we're looking to have all our artists submit something, and each hour we'll draw one, and you don't have to be there to be present to win.
Wow.
We'll contact you after,
Okay.
and if you win, you get it.
Wow.
Listen, my audience. I want your audience to make sure, don't count me in stone yet, but
Right,
it is something
right.
kind of exciting,
Oh,
and
yes,
so I
yes.
thought, well, I had the opportunity.
Sure, you'll
I'll go out on
mention
my
it,
limb
sure.
and mention it.
Okay, all right. No, that's good. That's certainly something that you don't see everywhere. Definitely.
I don't know where else anybody ever does something like that.
And remember, this is a nonprofit organization, so that
it is a total non-profit.
you're not out there to make $1,000, $1 million. You're out there to make sure that you have the community has an opportunity to participate in a festival.
Our entire our committee, the Art and Groton Bank Committee is 100% volunteer, and none of us gets paid. We do this because we love our community and we want to make the community better. The library is such a beautiful place. We want to support the library and put that library on the map so people visit this beautiful building as more than a library. Just for instance, if you want to use the library, you can have free internet access. Mm-hmm. You can fax, you can email, you can copy, and it's all there. And the library has all of these services in addition to just being a library.
Right.
A beautiful building.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's a great library, and it also is a nonprofit library. So
sure.
It's all about giving into the community, not making a profit in any way.
Right.
No salaries are involved. Nothing.
Right.
It's all about community.
So I want to also take this opportunity to promote this station, which is a nonprofit.
Yes, please.
Yes, so on June 21st, we are holding our art show, which is more of a traditional art show, where we're going to have, there it is, June 21st, Wednesday night, 5:30, 8 p.m. We always have something to eat here, so we're always into having fun with food. And we will have some live music, and we have many, many local artists that we encourage visual art as well as photography, but basically we are a much more traditional art show. So if there are artists out there who do watercolor, acrylic, whatever you might be doing, oil-based photography, we are still looking for people to come and show their work. And we are a nonprofit, so we make it easy for artists to sell their work. That's part of what we're trying to do, to be a part of the community, to be an asset. And Groton has fewer, I think actually, where there aren't really many galleries in the city anymore. So this we want to think of as our community gallery. And so we encourage people to, if they are artists, to come and contact us. You can contact sec-tv.org. That is our website, and get some information about the art show. But we want folks to come on down, 5:30 to 8 p.m. Again, we're not a juried show, but we do, have some discriminatory tastes that we like to have promoted here. And so give us a call, get on the website, and everybody we want to come down. We always have wine and cheese. You can't come to this studio and not have a little bit of a party. So again, June 21st, for all those artists out there, 5:30 to 8 p.m. It's a kind of a fun thing to come on down here. We don't have the hot lights on. It'll be a lot of fun. We move all the stuff away, and it's an opportunity to schmooze with some friends, and again, maybe do a little bit of your holiday shopping early by taking home a painting. So we look forward to seeing you. Please come on out, tell your friends and neighbors. Come on out to the studio. We're located here in the Groton Shopping Plaza, which is between Benny's and the post office in Groton off of Route 1. We have lots and lots of parking, so we look forward to having you come. We're just going to celebrate summer. That's what it's all about. Celebrate summer here at SEC TV at our summer art show. So this is Harriet Grayson. Mark, it was so wonderful to have you.
Well, Harriet, thank you so much for having me back. And I want to also say that, yes, I support, obviously, the studio.
Yes, of course.
And Around the Town with Mark, of course, loves to have you. And the studio is a wonderful, wonderful place. And again, thank you for the opportunity to promote art in Groton Bank. And we look forward to your participation.
Thank you very much. So this is Harriet Grayson, your host and producer for Community Culture Showcase. We hope you have a great summer, and please take advantage of all the wonderful summer activities that are going on right here in your community. Again, June 21st for the art show here in the studio, July 15th, Art on Groton Bank. Thank you and enjoy the day.